This week, we're talking all about our curriculum choices for the new school year. This is Your Morning Basket, where we help you bring truth, goodness, and beauty to your homeschool day. Hey everyone, it's Pam from Your Morning Basket, and I'm so happy that you're joining me here today. I'm going to be talking all about the different curriculum that we have decided to use for the 2020-2021 school year. So if you like homeschooling videos and videos about morning baskets, you can subscribe below or hit the little bell to be notified whenever we have a new video. Okay, so this one is not exactly morning basket related, but so many of you like to know all of the curriculum we use in our homeschool, not just the morning basket curriculum. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, as I go through and I start talking about the different curriculum we're using in this video, you may find that there are some things that are missing. You're like, well, what are you doing for history? What are you doing for literature? Well, guess what? All of that stuff is in the morning basket. And I talked about that a couple of weeks ago, and I will link that video for you so you can go back and find that one. Because our school day is really broken into two parts. One part is our morning basket, which are all of the subjects that we do together. And then the other part are our skill-based subjects, some content area subjects, but these are the subjects that the kids do independently. And those are the subjects that I'm going to be talking about today. Okay, so let's get started with what we have going on. So let me start with my 10th grader first. Olivia is going to be, well, actually we're 3 weeks into the school year. So technically she has already started 10th grade. And for her this year, she's continuing math. She's doing Mr. D math online, and she also has a math tutor that she sees for a couple of hours a week because Olivia and I don't work well together with math. And so fortunately we have a lovely lady here in our town, Miss Debbie. She actually does math tutoring for a lot of our homeschool friends. She is a former homeschooling mom. Her kids are grown and gone now, and she does math tutoring. And so she's been Olivia's math tutor ever since long division. It's a great relationship. It really works. And so Olivia goes to see her, but they do it via Zoom now, a couple of hours a week. And so they're working on Mr. D math together. So that's what she does for math. This year, she wanted to do something a little bit different for writing. She wanted to kind of reach out and explore novel writing a little bit. And so we are actually doing the 1-year adventure novel. Now, this is one of our subjects we haven't started yet. Our streaming access actually begins on Monday. And so Olivia starts this on Monday, and it's all like laid out, which is something that I love. So this is the textbook. There are streaming videos. There's a workbook. There's a little book for mom, a little teacher's guide, and student test answers for me. And we're just going to be digging into it. And it's pretty much laid out. And by the end of the year, she should have a good draft of a novel going. And they do webinars each month. They have a forum and a community for the kids to like work together on their novels and to share information and go back and forth. And so she's really excited about this one. I'm really excited about her getting the opportunity to do it, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So we're taking our 10th grade year to do novel writing. The other thing that we're doing is something from IEW. So let's stay in language arts here now that we're done with math. So this is a Victus study skills system. And so Andrew Pudawa was telling me about this back in November when I went to visit IEW in Oklahoma for their birthday celebration. And he was talking about having led different groups of kids through this particular program and how good it was. Now, there are only like 8 or 9 lessons in here, so I imagine we'll be done with this at the end of the first term. But it's about goal setting and strategies for test taking and your priorities and how you manage your time and different things like that. So there's a student workbook, and then there's a teacher book that kind of walks you through how to lead your student through this study skills system. So we just meet together once or twice a week, she and I, and talk about the different things that are in this particular book. So that really wasn't language arts, but that's okay. The other thing that she is doing is phonetic zoo. So she's almost done with this, and when she finishes, she's completed spelling. She will be very happy. I'm like, just get it done. So we'll see how much longer it takes her to do this and get it finished. She's not really doing a grammar program this year, and that's okay. We're going to work on grammar through writing. I just decided I would rather her spend her time on some of the other things. She's got pretty good usage, and so we're not doing a grammar program this year, and then we never do vocabulary really as a rule. So she's got a great vocabulary. She's going to pick it up through reading and her writing and different things like that. As we get further, like closer to test prep, like SAT or ACT test prep, we might put a little vocabulary back in there, but that's not something we're focusing on this year. So she's also doing typing. She's continuing to hone her typing skills, and she does that through a program called Typingclub.com. We just use the free version of that. And then we're taking astronomy this year. We're doing the Experience Astronomy course, and she is in the 4 high school credit track of that one, and that begins in September. She's also doing project work with in the area of mythology. So if you're interested in what it looks like to do a project with a homeschool teenager, I invite you to go check out Blog She Wrote by Heather Woody. She's done a lot of project work with her teens. And so this year we're reading some mythology things in morning time, and Olivia's going to be reading some mythology things on her own. We're also exploring some mythology through Crash Course Mythology on YouTube. Be sure to preview that as the parent. And then we're doing mythology project work. So right now Olivia is in the formulating stages to try to figure out what it is she's going to do for her mythology project for this year. But we know we're doing a deep dive and spending a lot of time studying world myths. She's also going to be taking the National Mythology exam next spring as well. So she'll be doing a lot of reading and prepping for that particular test. In addition, she's continuing piano, she's continuing her musical theater class, and she's continuing karate as well. Organ, steel drum, the girl stays busy. She has a lot of different things going on. And then she's in confirmation class at church this year as well. Okay, so that is Olivia. So now let's move on to John. John is actually an 8th grader this year, and John is also a dyslexic 8th grader. So sometimes that comes into play with certain subjects, and other times it doesn't. In mathematics, he does really, really well in mathematics, and he is already partially through pre-algebra with Mr. D. So he's going to continue doing that. Very wisely and astutely on his part, he chose to do American Sign Language as his foreign language, and he started that this year. So we're starting off the year with the ASL class from Mr. D Math, but I think there's a really big interest here because he is actually pushing through the class quite quickly. So I have a feeling that before it's all over with, I'm going to have to find him a second level American Sign Language class. He really, really seems to be enjoying that one. He is also doing Phonetic Zoo this year. So he just started level 1 of Phonetic Zoo, and he will probably work on that, through the Phonetic Zoo program for a few years. Those phonics are really good for him to review and stay on top of. He also reads to me a few times a week. We have a book that we read through together, something of his choosing, and so reading out loud, practicing that reading fluency is something that we also do. And John is doing grammar this year. He is doing Fix-It Grammar Level 1 the Nose Tree from IEW. This is a perfect little program for him. He also sees an OT for dysgraphia. And so this gives him like a sentence that he can copy every day and do some copy work. And we're talking about the different grammar concepts that are in here. So this is just a really great, doable program for him. And I really like it. And then he is also doing structure and style for students with IEW. Now, I talked to the folks at IEW about what level should I put him in, because he's an 8th grader, and normally that would mean he would be level B, and then typically level C is for 9th grade. Level C is not out yet, by the way. I believe only levels A and B are available at this point. And the folks at IEW talked to me and said, you want to go by their reading level. So we actually put him in level A. And I do think this is a perfect fit for him, because he is able to work through so much of this independently. And I think that's a really great boost for his confidence, and he's doing a good job with it. And this was actually at his request this year. He requested to do IEW, and I was really happy to have the new structure and style with Andrew teaching all the classes on video. So this is the first time in probably 6 or 7 years that I don't have to teach a writing class. I'm just kind of the go along beside mentor person, and I'm really kind of enjoying that role. So this is a lot of fun. Let me see, what else is John doing? Yeah, so I think that's it. He also does typing as well, and he's kind of tagging along on some of the mythology stuff with his sister. He is probably going to go ahead and take the National Mythology exam on the junior high level, and honestly shouldn't have a whole lot of problems with that with our reading this year. But I'm not requiring him to do any kind of deep dive or in-depth project. He is just listening to the readings, he's narrating, and he's really focusing on these skills that he needs a lot of practice with. So I'm not going to add a lot of extra stuff to his day. Now, in addition to the things we're doing here at home, he also attends youth group at church, and he does he's taking a dance class with his sister this year. He's going to do a musical theater class, and then he also does a ninja class at our local gymnastics studio. So that's a lot of flips and wall climbing and different things like that. So my last one is, oh, and I forgot to say, John will also be tagging along with the astronomy class. Now, I didn't officially enroll him because we're not going for any kind of credit or anything like that. So he will simply be watching the videos, listening into the readings, and going outside and doing the observations, the sky observations, as Olivia does them as well. Okay, so the last one is Thomas. Thomas is in 5th grade this year, and basically this is largely a repeat of what what John is doing. So Thomas is also going to be doing structure and style level A for students. And I would love to say that, like, I'm just putting them in front of the or in front of the streaming service and letting them go, but I'm doing a little more hand holding with Thomas through this one, because he did a formal writing program last year. It was not IEW, it was something else, and we did it at co-op, and we of course only went through March, and I was kind of frustrated with the program, and so I did not finish it out with him at home. So even though he's had a teeny tiny bit of writing experience before, this is it's kind of a reboot or a restart for him. And so I am giving him all the help he needs with this. When he gets stuck, I just come right along beside him and make writing as easy as possible. That's what Andrew Poodle, I would tell you, you can't give him too much help. And that's what I'm doing. So as such, all of my dreams of me sitting with both boys and working through this together at the same time have gone out the window. We're working on it separately. But John is being pretty independent with it. So I'm really kind of having to spend most of my time with Thomas. Thomas is also doing Fix-It Grammar, and he's actually doing really well with it. It's going great. It's working wonderfully for him. And then for math, Thomas, actually does Math UC Delta. So he's been in Math UC all the way since the pre-alpha level, and he is actually over halfway through this book. Now, I would say he'll be done with it by the end of the semester, but we're about to go into long division, and so it's probably going to take a little bit longer, but I do imagine we will start the next book before the end of the school year. We started Roller Coaster Rider last year and really kind of floundered with everything else that we have going on. And so we are picking this up again this year and continuing with Roller Coaster Rider from Half a 100 Acre Woods. I'm not in any hurry. It's just important to me that they get a foundation in cursive, definitely be able to sign their name, be able to read some. They're going to be like me and eventually decide how they're going to write in the end their own selves anyway. But I do want to introduce this to them and bring it into our homeschool. So we will spend some time on this. Thomas is also a number of lessons already into all about spelling level 3. And so he's going to continue this book this year and finish it. And then he will move into phonetic zoo as well. All right. I think I've covered just about everything. Thomas also reads aloud to me a number of different times a week, and he will be tagging along with the science class. He'll be watching the videos, listening in on the readings, and then doing some of the observations with us as well. Outside of our homeschool, Thomas plays steel drum at our church. He does private lessons there, and he also does the ninja gymnastics class as well. So as you can see, we stay pretty busy. Now, we don't do all of these subjects every day. I've actually laid out the subjects on Trello boards, and I'm going to come back in a week or so with a video for you guys on how I set up the kids' Trello boards. And we have some subjects which they are required to do on specific days. For example, they do math every single day of the week. They do writing 4 days a week, and then they do grammar 4 days a week. But a lot of their subjects I've kind of put over on the side, and they get to choose which days they do them. So I only say you have to do spelling 2 days a week, you have to do cursive 2 days a week, you have to read to mom 3 days a week, but they get to choose where that goes on their list. Same with the bigger kids with typing and different things like that. So they get some flexibility over their schedule, and then there are some things that I require them to do every single day. So we'll be back with that Trello video soon. So once again, if you've watched all the way to the end and you're wondering, where is history? Where is literature? Be sure to check out that morning basket video I did, because those things are in there. And if you have any questions at all, just drop them down below, and I will be happy to answer any of the questions that I can for you about the various pieces of curriculum that we are using. All right, I will be back again. And hey, until then, hit subscribe, hit the little bell. You'll be notified when I put a new video up. And you guys have an awesome, awesome school year.